Hi everyone. So this is geometry for week 3 of online learning. We're going to do a really easy week this week. We're going to do a week on volume. So hopefully you have printed out, or you can download this onto your iPad if you want, if you know how to write on your iPad. And this week you're going to upload this back to me for points. So onto this assignment where you found these notes, you're going to load them back up for me and post them to your Google Classroom assignment so I can give you some points for those as well. All right, so here we go. We are doing volume. So volume is the space, air, or matter inside of a 3D figure. So we always start out with just like a regular box, a cube. We're going to call it a unit cube. And they're called a unit cube because their width, their length, and their height are all one unit. So we would call this the length. We would call this part over here the width. And we would call this part over here the height. So if we wanted to find the volume, we would just multiply length, width, and height together. So we would do 1 times 1 times 1. And since let's pretend these are centimeters, or let's even do better, the first one we'll do as units. So if I'm doing units, this is 1 unit times 1 unit is going to give me a grand total volume of 1 unit cubed. So remember, in area, we had everything that was squared as a word at the end. These are all going to have cubes because we're multiplying 3 different directions. Okay, so we're going to start out with what are called unit cubes. Think of them as like little Lego blocks, and they just want to know how many blocks are in each one of the shapes, right? So I could even count these up, or I could do length times width times height. Now you might say, hey, Mrs. Power, length and width, isn't that kind of arbitrary? Doesn't it just depend on which way you're looking at it? You're exactly right. Length and width, you could relabel the opposite ways and it wouldn't matter. Height, we always think about as if it came off of your desktop or your tabletop, how high off the table would it go? So usually the height one is the one that we can kind of tell if you're using the right labels or not. So I can see that the length is 2, the width is 4, and the height is 1. So we could count them all up, or I could just multiply all those numbers together and we would get 8. And since they said this one, we're going to do all centimeters, this is going to be cubic centimeters or centimeters cubed, right? So I could actually count them up and just go, there's 4, and then there's 8, and then there's 12, and then there's 16. Uh-oh, what did I do wrong? Well, maybe because I have a height of 1 and it's not really a height of 1. So what is our height? So our height, isn't it 2 blocks tall? So this would be a height of 2. So now we're doing 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So this is 16 centimeters squared. And again, if I counted them all, I would get to 16. All right, so we've got the main idea for this. So let's take a look at this one. So this one, we would call this the length, we'd call this the width, we'd call this the height. So length is 4. Width is 3 and height is 2. So if I multiply those together, I get 12, and then 12 times 2 is 24 square centimeters. Okay. All right, and then our last one. So pretty easy stuff, right, for volume? Okay, so this time length, width, and height. So length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Width is 1, 2, 3. Height is 1, 2, 3. So this time I'm going to do, how about the 3 times 3 is a 9 and leave this one as a 5. So 9 times 5 is 45 cubic centimeters. Cubic, because we're doing centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. All right. So into our next section, we're going to be looking at one of the shapes we talked about before when we were doing surface area. They're called rectangular prisms. Just think of them like boxes. They're like cereal boxes. Rectangular means that they have a rectangle base, and then everything else goes kind of perpendicular or right angled off of the ground from them. So volume is going to work the same way, length times width times height. So here is length, here is width, and here is height. So length, I'm usually looking for it down here, but did you notice they just put it up here? No big difference. Okay, so our length is going to be a 3, our width is a 2, our height is a 3. So when I multiply these, I'm going to get 6 times 3, that is 18, and we're doing centimeters cubed. This time I won't forget the cubed. Okay, next one. So this one we have length, We have width and we have height. So length is 4, width is 2, height is 3. So 8 times 3 is 24 cubic centimeters. And then our last one, here is our length, here is our width, here is our height. So length is 8, width is 4, height is 5. This one I'm going to do 20 times 8 because I think I can do that in my head. I think that's going to be 160 cubic centimeters. All right, so volume, just length, width, and height, as long as it's something that looks like a box. All right, last thing is sometimes they're gonna try to trick you, and they're not really meaning to, but I can see why we would think it's a little bit tricky. Notice that in this first picture, number 7, they've already done 2 of the numbers multiplied together for us. They already gave us area, so they already gave us length times width already is 90, so we just need to do height. So they've already done length times width equals 90. So we just need to multiply it by height, which is 4. So 90 times 4 would be a 3/6 with a 0. And then this is inches, so this would be inches cubed. Now, how am I going to remember that? Well, one of the things is when they give you the area, sometimes they give you the units to try to help you, right? And just consider that anytime they shade in an entire side and they call it area, they're probably giving you already 2 of those calculations. So here are my 2 calculations already. So that was already, what would we call that? I guess we'd call that width and height. So we still need length. So they've already done width and height and they got 15. So we just need to do 15 times 8, 0, carry a 4. That's going to be 120, and this one's yards, so it's going to be cubic yards. Cool. All right, so that's all we're doing on Khan Academy this week. There's videos to help you if you need specific or more information. Videos are not required. The lessons that are assigned are required, as well as the quiz at the end I record as a quiz score. So that's the quiz in Khan Academy. Also, there is a quizzes quiz as well that we do. And again, it's super easy numbers. Just have a calculator nearby to make it easier for you. I've also downloaded on Online Tools, some other places where you can download calculators online that work more like our calculators and less like your phone where you have to put in all the pluses and minuses kind of backwards and stuff. So hope you're having a good week. We'll look for video conferencing with you again on Thursday. Send me any questions that you're having on any of this content on the Google Classroom assignment, and we'll make sure we go over them on Thursday as well. All right, guys, have a great week. I hope you're doing well. We'll see you later. Bye.